Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, it's Saturday, and we have another awesome property tour for you. Before I start going too far, hey, you don't mind putting in the chat where you're from? We would love to know where people are coming from. And as you start to come in, the reason why we like to ask that, we like to know where you're coming from. But two, I want to make sure you can hear me. And then three, what's really neat is you get to ask questions in the chat. So you get to ask questions in the chat. We love for everybody to stay muted so that way because we have our investors today, and they're kind of busy, and we want to make sure that we respect their time for allowing us to give a glimpse look into what they're doing as in real estate investing. So we appreciate that. And as you're also adding there, you're going to have some questions. That's how you get to ask your questions in the chat. And so we'll be monitoring that as we kind of go through. Before we go any further, we wouldn't even have done this if it wasn't for Scott. So Scott, thank you. Scott is he's with his family as a real estate investor. He gets his time back, and so we say thank you for putting this together. I want to say he's been doing this. It looks like I think he's in his sixth year, about to go into his seventh year of doing this, allowing for real estate investors within our community to come together. So you get to see that we do real estate investing all the time. We have investors who are in action, and that's what we're going to show you today. So you can see on your screen right there. Oh, we got a good one out of Kentucky. And this is a buy and hold strategy that you're going to see. So we got Shannon Dew and Ryan's going to talk to us today, and it's going to be awesome. But before I forget, and before you forget, go ahead and thank the person right now who invited you to this meeting because you're going to have some good nuggets you're going to write down. So I just want to check to see who's there. So we have New York showing up today. We got Seattle, Washington, Atlanta is showing up today. DC's in the house. New Jersey is here. Detroit's here. Hey, Dumfries, Virginia is showing up. Chicago, Chi-Town, New Jersey. Somebody all the way in the Bahamas. Whoa, guys. And we got somebody in the Bahamas who's going to hear what you got today. We got myself out of Virginia. We got Scott out of Cincinnati. Oh, this is going to be awesome. So let me go ahead and just stop sharing this because this is going to be awesome, guys. Hey, if you don't mind coming out on camera, that would be really awesome. Let me see if I can get Shannon Dude out here too. See, add a spot there. There he is. Awesome, guys. So, hey, thank you for taking your time out for being here today and giving us a little glimpse. As you can see, we got people from all over, not just the United States, but outside of the United States to really want to understand about real estate investing. And so there's some folks here who may not know you, but at the same time, there's some folks who this is the first time they really want to think about real estate investing. So they're kind of curious. And then we have some folks here today that may be like, you know what? I'm doing it, but I really want to take my game to the next level. And they're just kind of like sitting on the fence. And so as we kind of talk today, that's who's here. And because y'all going to share with us the buy and hold strategy that you worked at, we're just going to have a conversation to kind of talk about that. So we had a quick conversation about who you are. So I know who you are, but if y'all don't mind, I'm not sure Ryan or Shannon, whoever's going to come out first, if you don't mind kind of talking about who you are, what you're doing before real estate investing, but why did you get started in real estate investing? Whoever want to go first. Oh, I
I'll go
lost your
first.
sound, Shannon, so Ryan may have to go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. No problem. Yeah. So good morning, everybody. I'm glad everybody's here. Good to meet you. My name is Ryan Newton. I am from Queens, New York. I have been a part of this team, this real estate investing team since 2019. I think like August 2019. That's when I joined, and the reason why I joined is because I was sitting at work and I was just having a bad time at work. Sitting at work, having a bad time at work, and I did feel that what I was doing, I was a paralegal, and I felt that my career, although I worked at a very prestigious city office, very prestigious city office, I felt that this amount of money that I was making would never be enough for me to live the life that I wanted to live. Um, and so I started to look for, a way out, something additional to help me bring some income, some wealth, some of those things. And so I decided to go online. I found that Eventbrite, and some people linked me into this community. I saw this education, this amazing platform, and I definitely thought it was something for me to join. Having the community, right? The community to, just call somebody and just say, hey, I'm watching this class, and I need some help. I'm not interpreting things correctly, or can you just make sure that we're good? I'm good on understanding what I'm understanding, and all that was just I saw that and I thought that was incredibly helpful and something that I think, well, I don't think anymore. I know um it was beneficial for me because I'm still here 6 years later, and doing deals. I met on one of the property tours live. I met I think this was back in 2022, 2021 actually. I was there at this property tour here in Queens, New York, with one of my mentors, Joe, and I met this guy named Chinadu, him and his wife, and that's the second that we linked up, and then he could tell you the rest from there.
Can we hear you now, Shannon? Oh, we
Oh
lost.
man, your sound is still off, bro.
Well, as he's starting to still come on, I see like he's trying to connect. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, Ryan, about the community, people that you can ask questions of, right? So I was that kid in school who would like ask questions like, "Hey, um, hey, what's the answer to number five?" Right? What's the answer? And so
Absolutely.
when you're trying to run the numbers and you just have that little if I just can get this little piece right here, I'll be good to go and to be able to bounce and ask questions. So Shannon, can we hear you?
Yeah, loud and
Oh,
clear.
there he
There we go.
is. Yes.
Awesome. Yes, my name is Chinadu Emasibe. Happy Saturday, everybody. I joined this community April 2021. I will never forget it. Before this, I was working at Starbucks for about 3 years. I loved that job, and then I got fired. So after that, I was in college. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I think until my third year, I figured out that that's not what I want to do. I went to a trip to a courthouse on a summer day just like this, and I saw a whole bunch of lawyers sweating, hot, and looking unhappy. And then, I looked at them and said, man, this may be me if I continue down
Oh,
Almost
that.
you sound.
And it kind of get
There we go.
yeah, you faded out for a second.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it kind of gave me the real estate bug, but I was stuck. I knew surface level stuff about real estate, but I had nobody to ask questions with. I didn't know what the next step was. So I saw a roadside sign. I called it up, and and someone answered. And they showed me, this wonderful community. And at the time, unfortunately, I was not ready. I did not have the right mindset to year. And then that person called me again. I came to a property tour live where I met Ryan and a whole bunch of other community members who became some great friends and mentors to me. And just like Ryan said, few years later, here I am with the support of the community. I made a lot of friendships, a lot of people who's helped me complete my first deals up until the deal that I'm up right now. I've done a lot of partnerships on deals. I've helped a lot of people in this community. So it was great that this community literally took me from the very bottom and helped me build myself up so I can come and share, the kind of success Ryan and I are having and help people create their own as well.
Man, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. And as it's interesting because a lot of people um they do the exact same thing. They read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It kind of makes them aware, right? It makes them aware that there's something that you can do out there. And then we kind of quickly realize, okay, but then how do I implement? So I see something, but how do I implement, right? I know nobody in this book, right? I can't call them up and that's how I felt. And then I ran it just like y'all came across the community and they showed us how to implement. And I can hear just in the difference. Well, let me just ask this question. From the when you first got started to where you are now, have your confidence grown over time?
Oh yeah, yeah, without a doubt.
100%. 100%.
Oh, you coming in broken,
Confidence.
Shannon.
confidence, the communication skills, the yeah, like both of those things in total, I think definitely skyrocket.
And out of curiosity, what made
Oh, you're on mute, Keith.
all right, what made a difference for you?
I'm sorry.
What made the difference for you? The confidence. What helped you?
Okay, so let's take that back to my first deal, right? Which was by myself. I don't know if I closed it by the time I met Chinadu or I was about to close it, but I was working on it when I met him. My very first deal. I called this lady in Jersey. I'm from New York. I called a lady in Jersey. I went to go see it. My dad's a contractor, so he was on like FaceTime with me. And I came back home and then I had to call Jason, one of my mentors on the team. Um, and he helped me work through the numbers. He put the the rocket on my back, if you will, or the fire up under me to call her because I was nervous to call her back and give her an offer. Right. I was nervous to do those things. I was nervous that my offer wasn't good enough. I was nervous to run these numbers by myself. I needed help. So having that support gave me the initial confidence to proceed through the rest of everything else. After that, it's just the everyday having conversations, running numbers, doing a market analysis, um, and then eventually closing more and more and talking more and more to more people that help give me the confidence necessary to be here today.
Oh, that's awesome. And so I'm just going to just look at the chat real quick for the folks who are on today. Is that some of the things that you're looking for? You're looking for like a community that will help build your confidence so that way you can do the deals and or do the things that you want to accomplish in 2025. So I'm going to just look at the chat as people starting to put that in as we get ready to well, I already know James is going to say yes. I see James out there. But yeah, so that yeah, they're starting to come in. So yeah, that's really awesome. So let's talk about the property. So Shannon, let me see if I can get you to see if I can get you back on. See if you can you say something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Smooth.
Awesome. So can you answer that too? That same questions like, about your confidence and what kind of help you build your confidence?
I came to that first property tour in April, right? I was still on the fence. Like I was ready, but I still wasn't ready. I was on the fence. And then I met Ryan, right? Ryan was the only person around my age in the room. And I asked Ryan, what have you done since you've been here? And Ryan said, I'm closing on my first flip right now. And from there, it was a wrap. I said, man, if he can do it, I can see myself doing it. So just like Ryan gave me the confidence, right, to move forward and he made it more real. Like there was a bunch of older guys in the room, and in my head, it was just like, oh, these guys are seasoned. They've been doing it for years. It's gonna take me time to catch up. So just hearing Ryan's story and him sharing that, yo, he's in his 20s and that he's closing on his first deal. From there, it seemed more real. It seems like not only can I, create a future here, I can go far and it's actually real. So that gave me my confidence and my start to move forward with the community along with the all the extra trainings and support that we've done here. Like even going to the mastermind and when I have a lead and I'm not confident in my numbers, I can bring it on Sundays, go to the mastermind and get a whole bunch of investors to kind of critique my deal and figure out if it's a good lead, a bad lead, but most importantly, how to make it better, right? So just stuff like that is like, well, what more could you ask for?
Nah, yeah, I get it. And but I like to see progress, right? And in that we like not only see progress, but within ourselves, and to see that you acknowledge that journey that you've gone through. And speaking of the journey, today we're going to talk about a property. And so, if you don't mind, if you got some pictures or something that you want to show, and kind of tell us about this property, how did you find it? Like how many bedrooms and baths? Because a lot of people are like, okay, all right, yes, I know there's something about education. Okay, but how did you find this property? Or, what made you say this is the one I need to get.
All right, I'll let Chin talk about how to find the property, and then I'll pull up the pictures.
Okay.
Gotcha. So when Ryan and I finally teamed up after being in the community for a while, there's this class called Investor ID, and it basically lets you figure out what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses, add your weaknesses. So me and Ryan teamed up together, and I told Ryan, "Hey, I'm good at finding properties. Everything else, I'm not too sure about, right?" So um, and that was our agreement. I find the properties, I speak to the sellers, and then, once we decide it's a good lead, Ryan will now move forward with the process, help us get the money, help us, if there's any construction, speak to contractors, things of that nature. So I found this property on Facebook, in a real estate investing Facebook group. I was just diving deep on the post that was there, and I saw a wholesaler commenting on another investor's post with this property. So after seeing that comment, I reached out to the wholesaler and I expressed our interest and asked for more details.
All right. So this property is in Kentucky, right?
Correct.
So you got through a wholesaler. What really caught your attention though? Like you want to dig a little bit deeper into it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Ryan and I closed on a property in this area before, so we kind of knew the numbers we needed to be at. But one thing we wanted for sure was a property that was turnkey, something that didn't need too much work, but also at a good price because we knew an idea of what it can rent for. We knew what the ARV in the area was. So we knew if we can get a property that's turnkey, doesn't need work for a certain kind of price point, we knew that it was something that we wanted to add to our portfolio.
And yeah, so the key is that since we bought that property, we understood the market. We understood what rented for what. And we understood that in this market, it's easier to find. I don't want to use these words easy, right? But because ain't nothing easy about this. Um, there's a whole process to get here. But we understood that there was a path to finding properties at the price we needed to be, and then we understood what rents were. Rents would be for that, and that would allow us to cash flow. Just to say what Chinadu said. And so this is the property. When Chinadu found the property, he showed it to me. I said, this property is turnkey because that's exactly what we were looking for. And it's not at market, it wasn't being sold at market price. Market prices was about $30,000 more than what we bought the property for. Um, and so it was an automatic deal. So of course you can see we have the living room on the left and the kitchen on the right. It's a little open concept in the front. We have the stove on the left, and then the bathroom. This is a 3-1 house in Louisville, Kentucky, a 3-1. And that means 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. The washer, dryer, hallway, two different bedrooms. And then the left is the last bedroom on the left, and then the right is the backyard. And yeah, that was it. Like we knew what we wanted to do. I had a lender in place. Actually, we had to make some magic with that lender. Um,
Yeah.
but we had to work around some little challenges with that lender. But ultimately, we closed. It took us a month and a half to do it, but we got it done.
So you know what, guys, this is awesome. And can you go back to that first picture? So I'm going to
Yeah.
ask the question in the sense of because some folks that came on just a little bit later, because the people putting in the chat like they will love, yes, the support is needed for them, to move forward in real estate investing. Let me ask you this question. I know the answer, but where is this property again?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. All right. But where are y'all at?
New York,
I mean,
Queens, New
Queens, New
York.
York. Born and raised.
Wait a minute. So y'all are in Queens, New York, buying property in Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I've never been there before.
Wait a minute. So wait a minute. So you've never physically been to that property.
No,
I've
not
never
at
been
all.
to Kentucky, period. Let
Oh, you
alone
haven't
property.
even been to Kentucky. out of state investors, buyers. Oh, let me just look at the chat. I'm just hey for the folks in the chat. It, would you do something like that? I mean, will you have the confidence to do that or the support to do that? I'm just out of curiosity. Or is that something you're interested into doing? Yeah. So how
Hobby.
did you do that? Yeah. Because a lot of people will say things like, "Well, I don't have anything in my backyard, or my area is way too expensive,"
It
and
is.
you hear all these things like, "You know what? I'm not going to do it because real estate investor doesn't work in my area." Have y'all heard things like that?
I live in New York. Real estate is very unaffordable for the average person. It's not going to happen for me. I'm 30 years old, 32 years old. The average 32-year-old single male is not buying a $600,000 house. So, so just the average person. It's not that it can't be done, but it's just that maybe there's other markets out there. Maybe I'd say that there is other markets out there that you can get into, that suit who you are, your needs, the price points that you're comfortable with. Um, and if you ever want to evolve to doing things in your market, my market, $600,000 houses, if I want to evolve into doing that, I could just do that and I can start here. I could start in Louisville, Kentucky instead. I don't have to start in my neighborhood. I could start somewhere else. If I felt that I needed to visit the property, I could just go visit the property. I can't do that all the time like I can in New York, but every now and then I could go visit Kentucky, just to see it. But other than that, I can go get started somewhere else and I can come back to New York, and over time I could do deals wherever I want to do them. If I want to do them here, I'll do them here. Just give it some time, start small, grow big.
Awesome. What about you, Shannon?
Yeah, I've never been to Kentucky, and if I'm being honest, I don't have the desire to, right? I love the market. I really do love the market for, it's good for appreciation, it's good for price point compared to what you could rent it for, right? In New York, like Ryan said, average house is $600,000. I can't justify paying $600,000 to cash flow about 300 bucks, So in this market, it makes a whole lot of sense, and it's so cool that we connected with a team member in Kentucky to be our boots on the ground and property manager. So we can have the peace of mind and not have to go there. He'll take pictures for us, he'll coordinate anything we have to do there. It's just so we don't ever feel the need to have to get a plane ticket and go out there. And that's just another beauty of the community, connected with people literally across the states. Across
Yeah.
the states, yeah.
It's funny because Scott put in the chat, he says Kentucky is beautiful. He's out that area. So you're right. So we have community, we got community members everywhere. And that's really I like about the community because you can pick up the phones, within the community and make that connection that you have and kind of reach out because like Lydia, if hopefully I said that name correct, is she's like, did you have someone inspect it for you, or do you just trust the process? And so now we're going to kind of go into like you saw the picture. It says this, and so I'm looking, I guess on the picture on the left is the front, and the picture on the right is the back.
That's
Correct.
correct.
Okay. So when you saw this picture, what made things start to click for you to start running your process? Because one thing that one of the questions is, or that somebody kind of is asking is, you mentioned about knowing the market. So I know we learned about market analysis and understanding about the different rents because you dropped quite a few nuggets in there about the price comparison and the rent and that area about appreciation. So I'm going to assume y'all did some research before you actually started to buy. Is that fair to say?
Very, very fair.
Yeah. You know what? Chinadu could tell you how we got to the market,
Okay,
and
so I
I
did I
think that'll
did my
answer the question.
first deal in Kentucky. I did my first wholesale deal in Kentucky. My first deal ever was in Kentucky. It was a wholesale deal, and I sat on that wholesale deal for about 3 months. because I had no buyers. Like I was still new. Like I spent a lot of time learning how to find deals that I never learned the next step, right? So I was learning the next step through the community and the classes as I had the deal. So within those 3 months, I took the time to learn the market, learn how much it appreciates, learn how often it's been appreciating in the last 10 to 20 years. I learned about the rents. I learned about, where the buyers want to buy at, where they want to avoid. So this was one of the areas that people are actually buying in. So, when I first got to Kentucky, I learned a lot about that market, and I was telling Ryan about it, and, of course, Ryan did his own due diligence. He's an intellect, and he can make sense of it. So we decided to team up, join this market, and reap the benefits of this market being from New York.
And just to answer that very particular question about, I see this house and then I analyze it. So that's how we got to the market. He analyzed the market that it's good for rentals. But then when it came to the house, I never cared about the house. We don't like, we're not looking at the pictures of the house and saying this is going to be a great house. We're looking at the numbers of the house and we're saying this is going to be a great house. It has nothing to do with the pictures. Um, all the pictures do is confirm the condition. But once we find out the condition, we just adjust the numbers. So it always starts with the numbers. It always starts with what is the purchase price? What are the details about the house outside of the pictures? And then it's just running the numbers. What's the market rent? What is the bed and bath market rents purchase price? Once we have those things, we can figure out, if this is something we should continue to look into and then eventually close on.
Awesome, awesome. So can you go to the next picture? Because I know you was going through the pictures because there's some people. So
Mhm.
just out of so how many bedrooms and bath one more time?
This is a 3 bedroom, 1 bath property. 1,100 square feet, something like that.
And so the pictures you are showing is that's the condition that it was in when you actually,
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah.
man, that's an awesome wholesaler that y'all got this through, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Right.
awesome. Yeah, he's
Can
great.
you add me to that list too?
He's great.
This is awesome.
He's
So
great.
one of the things you said, Shannon, do was about, as a wholesaler, you was wholesaling. Do you consider yourself now that time has gone by and you have done different things? Do you just consider yourself just a wholesaler?
I don't. I don't. One term that they use in this community that stuck with me a lot was a transactional engineer, right? So being able to see a property and we learn a lot of strategies here, right? So being able to see a property and figure out what is the best strategy for that property. So now I don't even put a label on myself that I'm a buy and hold investor or a wholesaler or a flipper or anything. Now I'm just an investor because depending on the property, like we'll figure out the best way to take it down.
Awesome. Yeah. 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 I agree because the label of I'm just a buy and hold or I'm just a flipper or am I just, as you kind of realize when you started off, at wholesaling, you realize, wait a minute, if I understand the other pieces of the puzzle, then I can holistically can do more deals or I can have more opportunity exit strategies as it comes um, to doing things, especially if you like out of state. And that, man, I just want to applaud you that just takes a lot of guts to do that, man. Because it's the confidence. And you kind of looked at it, you say, the pictures is one thing. It just confirms what you're looking at because you ran the numbers, so you know what your entry and your exit when it came to this property and what you wanted this property to do for you. So I just want to pause for a second, and I want to make sure that we don't just gloss over that because what you said was really important. You looked at this property and says, okay, what can this property do for us? It's there, but what is this property supposed to do? So when you ran your numbers and you says, okay, that makes sense now and then you went forward. So do y'all have so you have a team down there? Did somebody go and take pictures? Because that's part of what some people are asking, like, did you take pictures down there? Do you have like people say you do diligence. What will you do diligence on this one?
Well, I think this is good because at this point we can show the video walkthrough about the pictures. We do have a teammate, a person who is part of the real estate community who lives down there, and we sent him to the property, and he was able to go take this video for us.
Yeah, this video and the walkthrough of him was very, very key because as we all know as investors, sometimes pictures lie, or even worse,
Absolutely.
they don't tell the whole picture. I mean, yeah, they don't tell the whole story or tell the whole picture. So him being down there was very, very crucial in our decision making. So we can, see videos, see proof, and confirm the condition and that everything is what the seller and the wholesaler said it is.
Yes, very key. Very key.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, you definitely that is a good point because in the pictures you
yeah.
can't see that something is sloped. You can't see that the floor is
Mhm,
sloped, all right? Unless you're looking at something very specific, right? But just
mhm.
just I agree with you. Just looking at these pictures, there's quite a few things I saw. I saw a ceiling fan, I saw center air just because of the HVAC systems in there. I saw that is yeah. And as you learn more and you do more, you start to pick up on things a little bit quicker and quicker and quicker. Um,
Yep.
how long did it, when y'all looked at this, y'all made a decision to actually pull as they call, pull the trigger to actually say, "Yup, we're gonna do it." How long did it take y'all? I mean, were y'all like like calm, metal, and or were you kind of like super excited? What was that for y'all?
We don't get excited anymore, Keith. We don't get excited anymore.
What y'all going to like
Um,
the war room? Like, okay, we got this.
it's just calm and collective, man. We've seen so many properties, right? Like we were looking originally we were looking for fix and flips in Jersey, our neighboring state. And we saw pictures, and then we would go see the house, and the house would be a little different. We would go into contract, and then something would happen, and then for some reason we don't close. So we've learned to cool ourselves, mind our temper, if you will, right? So it ain't exciting. We don't get excited anymore. We're just because we can go to the closing. We've never went to the closing table and not closed, like on that property at all, but we can like it can go that far and still not close. Like there could be a problem at the close. At my first deal, we almost didn't close because of where the title company was sending the money. It was an estate. Got to send it to the estate, not to the executor, right? Almost didn't close for that whole reason. Would have closed like a week later, if so. Big deal. So we just don't get excited. We just stay calm and collected.
Dude's like, I don't know, man. I'll be like inside. I'll be like,
Nah, we've
yeah.
we've been disappointed a few times. So many deals that haven't closed compared to the deals that have closed. So yeah, literally everything Ryan said. But as soon as those properties close, me and Ryan go out and celebrate.
Yes, we go out, we get a meal, we go to a restaurant, go eat. Yeah, that's what we do. In
Yeah.
fact, we're owed one because we still gotta go eat because we closed on another property before recently.
True.
We still
Yeah.
gotta go eat
Well,
actually.
because y'all in action, right? And you know what? And I'm glad y'all actually, you shared that because there's been so many times you see people talk about real estate investing and everything they do is a win. Oh man, I'm closing like 90 properties every 30 seconds. Like I never have a bad day. And y'all actually talk like, hey, there's our emotions that goes along with this. And then you learn
Mhm.
that there's process and steps that you have to do internally to be able to think through, to be able to analyze, use your resources, and kind of pull back. That says, okay, all right, game time, and we kind of go and you go not through the motions as you nilly nilly, but you have a game book, as I call it, right? You have your playbook that you're going to do, and y'all actually did that. Oh, hey, Shannon is going to do this part. All right, I did my part. Kick it over to Ryan. All right, Ryan, do your part. Then y'all kind of came back together and kind of put that together, and that's really awesome that y'all built that relationship. Now, do y'all since that's now, and this is a buy and hold, so do y'all have somebody who's going to be like your check on the property, like for maintenance, like you have a maintenance person down there since this is a buy and hold? What other pieces that you're added to this as a buy and hold as part of your team?
As time progressed, right? So we had our teammate Matthew who took that video. And he took a, I don't know if he's the one that took these pictures, but I'm sure he did take these pictures as well. So we have
Hmm.
Matthew down there. And then eventually we had to grow and we had to go get a contractor. So we found a contractor to help us out. Um an exterminator company. We
You
had
got
to
the
renovate.
Section 8 tenant finder too.
Yes, we have the Section 8 tenant finder. Speaking of the Section 8 tenant finder, so for this house, this is the text message right here where she texted Chinadu saying, "Congratulations, this house here passed inspection," because it failed the first time. Um, so we have her. Um, we have a few people. Like, yeah, we have the person that even Chinadu sold his first property to. We bought our first property from him as well. He's
Yeah.
always a good asset to talk to and just get some market knowledge. We have and now even then, these people aren't part of our team, but they are a place where we can go to for local information. Every Friday there's a Zoom for investors. So we have for like local investors. So we have created somewhat of a team so that we can always keep our ear as close to the ground as possible.
That's awesome because it sounds like you
You
learn and
learn.
then you do, right? You learn, the community, you use the resources, and then you implement what you're learning. And here, what you're showing that you implement it. So there's process like, like Bobby's asking, like, what was your process to find your contractor? Because y'all in New York, and I know, and you, this is in Kentucky. Like, how many phone calls did y'all make, or did you use somebody like, hey, somebody referred y'all to somebody? Like, because there's a lot of pieces like I want to do it, but if I can understand this piece uh, and then it's like, oh, I need this and I need that. How did y'all walk through that list?
So there's a class called Real Estate Foundations. And in Real Estate Foundations, the instructor talks about finding properties in 6 minutes, but you can also use that same strategy to find whatever you need on Facebook. So we join Facebook groups, looking for contractors. I called a few. And eventually we sent the guy to go meet up with Matthew, and we were confident in him. He really, he turned out to be great. We like him a lot. He's affordable, and he understands the mission, right? That yeah, he understands the mission, and he'd rather do more work than to do work one time to make a lot of money. So that's a big deal because that's how you keep your business going. If he charges us $10,000, $20,000, he's just going to be the another run of the mill guy. But if he charges us a little bit less, then we'll keep coming back to him. And so we found a guy who can just do just that, so that it's a symbiotic relationship, if you will.
Yeah, build that relationship. I like that. I like to do the same thing, is to build that relationship so they have repeated, business. So then they know you know them,
Hmm.
and then those pieces are kind of like, well, I wonder if they can do this. You already kind of gone through that and had those conversations and know the great work that they're going to do. And
Yeah.
then that kind of helps with your timeline when you get another property because you know how
Yeah.
fast and how quickly and quality that they can turn some things around. So,
Yes, sir.
so as we kind of, yeah, and as you starting to see, a relationship is rich, which I totally agree. And that's why I like to be able to have a conversation. And when I learn, and I think this is what I'm hearing from y'all, you learn to ask better questions. You learn to be able to vet people because a lot of people, well, how do you find this? And how do you do this? How did they're already out there, but you learn to be able to ask better questions, like for your CPA. They're like, there's a whole bunch of CPAs out there, but what
Mhm.
about have you done real estate investing? What type of real estate
Mhm.
investing? I mean, how many investors do you work with? just those type of things, right? And then for your maintenance guys as you kind of walk through. But you made this one, you said so the client for this one is Section 8. What made you go in that direction?
Yeah, so just understanding that. So when we first ran our numbers on this property, we were expecting to get I don't know if we could say the numbers yet. We was expecting to get X amount of dollars in rent, right? However, we saw on Section 8 we can get $100 more, right? So not only can we get $100 more, we get to vet our tenant through that Section 8 tenant finder that we made a relationship with. And, it's guaranteed money every single month. Section 8 is going to pay between the first and the fifth every month, no matter what happens. So just understanding that we can get more money on Section 8 and the income isn't backed by a W-2 or somebody's financial situation, right? As long as the government is still running, we'll be guaranteed our rent no matter what. So that's what made it very attractive to go with a Section 8 tenant.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. It's because we do the exact same thing. And as you can go ahead and start getting ready to pull up your numbers because I know that's what a lot of people are looking for. So I just want to remind everybody, you know, thank the person who invited you to this because there's a lot of nuggets that was dropped today. I wish we can go back and review every single one of them. But as you can see, there's a process involved. They started to learn and they started to move. So right after this, there is a meeting so you can understand how they started to learn. Ask them about that Zoom link. It's a different Zoom link, but ask them about that. And if you can't make it today, that's okay. Still reach out to the person who invited you to this meeting and says, "Hey, I want to go to the next meeting so I can understand about this community thing, about this how you implement the education to kind of go forward." And so just reach out to them and then make sure they take care of you. But I see you got some numbers up here for your holding buy and hold strategy. So can you just walk us through?
Yeah. So our purchase price, including the wholesale fees, $103,000. Of course, and then okay, $103,000. Without getting too much into the detail of it, we did fund it with a hard money lender. We funded it with a hard money lender, and then because of one of the classes, we learned how to raise money and through people's retirement accounts. Right. So we found a private lender who has a self-directed retirement account. That means that they can take. That means that their account custodian allows them to use their retirement to invest in real estate instead of the typical stocks or stock funds. So this person used $25,000 of their retirement account so that they can receive monthly income into their retirement account a little bit higher than what I guess they're probably getting in, stocks or whatever. So, but we came out of pocket $6,000 for the wholesale fee because the hard money lender wouldn't pay it. So in total it's 103,000 for the purchase and everything and $25,000 for the down payment. This is the 20% for the wholesale, sorry, 20% for the loan or for the purchase price, closing costs and any other lender fees. That was covered by 25K. And the 6K came out of pocket for us for the wholesale fee. And then the total value of the property about $130,000. It is surrounded by other properties that are a little bit nicer that are like sold for 160K, but this one a little bit less, not as nice, 130K. And then we have this slide right here for the final number to get us our cash flow. So Section 8 pays us $1,400 per month. Our PITI, so I'm just moving down the lines, y'all, right?
Yes.
Our PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance all covered in this at a 7.5 interest rate. And it originally was like a 6.5. Took a little too long to close, so they raised it up. That would have been nice, but whatever, because we still came through. It's about, these numbers are like approximate, so it's about $700. PITI, the private lender, we pay them about $200 a month. We do 5% our vacancy and maintenance. Maintenance is just making sure maintenance is the money that we set aside for when we have repairs. It's not if we have repairs, it's when we have repairs. Make sure you know it's when.
Yep.
And make sure you know that your maintenance is appropriate for the condition of the property because you will have more maintenance if your condition is not that great. And then vacancy. The idea here is that we have Section 8 tenants, and hopefully Section 8 takes away a little bit of risk of vacancy unless we don't perform, and unless the tenant, raises in life, we shouldn't go vacant, ideally. But so 5% for vacancy, and then we send our property manager. Again, he's just a local guy, who's down there who's willing to learn. He's on our real estate team. He wants to learn, and he's very proactive. He wants to be a part of the journey. He wants to be a part of the mission. So we pay him $50 a month just to talk to the tenants, and go drive by the property at least twice a month. Yeah, pretty much that's what we pay him. So in total, all expenses, all operating costs, all of these things, $1,090, and we cash flow $310 a month, which I think is pretty solid.
That is awesome. That is awesome. To get a
Yes.
property turnkey out of state, you put a little bit of money down. You was able to work with somebody to help them with their retirement account, so they will make more money throughout the life of the loan, make their money back plus interest, to be able to use somebody who's out of your state, but in that state, whose eyes, boots on the ground, to be able to help monitor and manage the property, and you cash flowing.
Yep.
And this is a long-term strategy when it comes to a
Mhm.
buy and hold. So this is actually,
Sure.
and then it's already the equity. You already have equity in the property right now,
Yes.
right? And then as over time they appreciate, and so then of course taxes depreciation. So this is like a win-win. Uh, yeah, like again, I like to be part of the team too. Can you sing some wholesale? That is awesome. Yeah, people are saying awesome. Hey, this is on fire. You know, you took a chance on yourselves individually, came together, part of the community, and to be able to just, you know what, let's crank something out. And that's really awesome. That is really awesome. Yeah, a lot of people saying, congratulations. They're saying, let's go. And so as we about to get ready to close, hey, I just want to thank you for just sharing, some insights and things that y'all doing with this property. You got it rented. You helping somebody who needed help in that area, which is the Section 8 program. So you making the housing affordable. You took the risk. So the government takes a risk on you, says, okay, hey, we need somebody to help us in that area. Y'all participate in that, and that you kind of giving back. And then you also talked about when y'all first got started, y'all came to our property tour, and you here today
Yeah.
giving back. And I just want to say thank you for doing that, because you know how much it means to hear our property tour and says, you know what, I resonate with what they're talking about. And I think a
Absolutely.
lot of people here today are actually doing the same thing. And so as we get ready to wrap it up, there's probably some things that you were thinking about as you was talking, and as we kind of going through and you reminiscing, and we probably didn't talk about it. So I'm going to give y'all both an opportunity to kind of share with everybody here some of the things that you were probably thinking about that you wanted to share, who may be sitting on the fence and says, I don't know about this real estate investing thing. I mean, the economy is not right. Matter of fact, when did y'all buy this property?
Right before Thanksgiving.
Right
Mhm.
before Thanksgiving. Like that's when everybody checks out, right? Oh, I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to buy any property. Everything's slow. Nobody's selling, but y'all was able to buy a property during that time frame.
We'll do it
Yep.
again. We'll do it. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so that's also awesome. So I guess that's what we like about this community, right? People taking action and moving forward. And when people say, oh, the wintertime you don't buy houses because people are not doing this, y'all was able to buy a property during that time frame. One of the biggest time frame is things getting ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep.
That is
If they
awesome.
want to slow down, we'll be there.
Exactly.
Because you could do it. You
Awesome.
could
So
do
I'm
it.
going to turn it over to both of y'all, if you don't mind, kind of like share with somebody who's probably sitting on the fence. And like you say, you know what? I don't know about this. What will you share with them? And I'd turn it over to each one of who wants to go first.
I can go
So,
first.
okay, go
Go
ahead.
for it.
The only thing I would want to share if you're on the fence is, so I've been on the fence. Like I told my story, I ran from the person who got me in this community for a year, right? Just because I was not ready. So I know what it feels like to be on the fence and not want to make that commitment, or is it going to work for me, right? My only thing was, if I'm not, I don't know what I would be doing right now. Like, I don't know what I would be doing in life right now that is going to equate to what I'm doing since I joined this community. So if you have no other option that's going to get you to that lifestyle that you're imagining, right? Everybody has that lifestyle you're imagining. Um, what's really going to help you get there, right? Just hearing that most millionaires all have real estate, like this is like one of the only true paths where not only can you, set yourself up in life, you can help people on the way as well by providing housing. Like just seeing our tenant like excited that they passed Section 8 and their family has somewhere to stay at night is fulfilling. And we get to trade that fulfilling feeling for cash flow every single month. So it's so beautiful where you get to join this community, join real estate, set up the lifestyle that you're imagining, but also help people in the midst as well. So definitely, you got to get in the game because I don't know anything that I could compare to this that would give the same result whatsoever.
Awesome. Awesome.
Um, before I joined this team, I heard this quote and I was just looking up the quote. From Nelson Mandela, he says, "There is no passion found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of living. There is no passion to be found playing small in settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of living." So that quote really stuck with me because I said, I can do more. I'm capable. I am more capable. And then it's like, yo, I'm so capable, I can do it. But then there's still some doubt. So the doubt was, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes wrong? And I just had to sit with myself and say, well, would I don't want to live life with regret. So would I regret not giving it a try? If I went 10 years and I never tried this real estate thing, I'm always going to think about this real estate thing. We always see people who, when we talk to people that want to do real estate, they wanted to do real estate for 10 years. I can't say I wanted to do real estate for 10 years because I did it when I wanted to do it. And I'm not, it's not a thing that I wanted to do, it's a thing that I did. So even if I stopped today, it's something that I did and I knew the results of what I did. There's no way I could regret not trying because I tried. Or I didn't, I did it. So if you are a person who's on the fence, I'd say jump in because you're always going to think about what if. And then why not just change the question? Joe on our team, instead of saying what if it doesn't work, he says, what if it does work? So what if it does work? Um, and that's all I say to that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you for definitely both of y'all, for sharing that. And awesome nugget because I know people were taking notes and that's we have those quotes and I know y'all have those quotes and like I have one, it's like your vision has to be bigger than your mood swing. Because when we always have mood swings and like, I don't feel like, well, that's a mood swing. But if you have that vision, like y'all both talked about, that whatever that better is for you in your lifestyle that you're looking for, if that vision is bigger than your mood swing, you need to move forward. And so thank y'all both for taking time out, for sharing. Y'all both into real estate, you're doing real estate, and you got other deals on the table because you kind of like kind of spotlight that just for a little bit. So we'll love to have y'all come
Stick that in
back.
there a little
Just a
bit.
little bit. Y'all kind of, and I like that, like a little trailer that came in there. So I like that because you in the doing, right? And we would love to have y'all come back to kind of share, what y'all doing, kind of moving forward. Again, inspirational as people saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Somebody said empowering. So again, thank you for giving back, right? Somebody gave to y'all, y'all giving back, continue that cycle, and y'all do great things. So I want to tell everybody, hey, thank you for being here. Hey, Scott, again, thank you for setting this up. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to come together to hear stories like this with Shenadu and Ryan, moving forward, helping people living their lives and just actually doing the things that they wanted to do. Because we wouldn't have done it if you didn't put together this platform. So thank you. So everybody get ready for next Saturday. We have another property tour, and then just be on tune because Ryan and Shannon got another deal coming, and they got a little spotlight that showed us that hey, they're gonna come back. Don't know when, but hey, it's gonna be awesome. Again, everybody, thank you, both of y'all guys. Y'all have an awesome Saturday. God bless, and see y'all next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, we appreciate you having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.